Welcome back to the Freelancers Tea Break, the short and sweet podcast that you can enjoy whilst you're making a cuppa. I'm Emma Cossey, a coach for freelancers, and I'm here to chat to you about tips, tricks, and advice for freelancers. Hi everybody, I am back with, I suppose it's kind of a rant. It is all about why isn't freelancing promoted more as a career option to young people? Now, this is very much front of my mind at the moment. I've just launched the Graduate Freelancer course. I've been doing talks with universities about freelancing, and it is a big passion of mine because I was never taught about freelancing as a student, either at school or university. And it was just never something that was offered as an option to me. I had no idea what it was. And I had hoped things had changed a little bit. And I do think universities are teaching about entrepreneurship, but I still don't feel like freelancing is being promoted as a career option. And I think it's such a shame because there are so many benefits to it. And especially now when, we've just gone past the whole, it still feels like we're working through it, but the whole COVID lockdown, although we are out of it, the impact is still being felt. And we are in a strange situation where last year, I think a lot of businesses were like, yeah, working from home, working remotely is working really well. And this year, that seems to have changed again. And a lot of companies go, no, you need to come back in. Not all companies. A lot are now embracing 4-day work weeks, and they are still embracing flexi working or remote working still. But there are some companies, especially sort of the more traditional ones, that are now trying to get everyone back in, which is why I think more than ever, freelancing needs to be promoted as a career option, because people got a taste for remote working and not being in the office, and also having more control over their work-life balance, people's mental health improved. Not everybody's. It isn't for everybody. I'd never say freelancing is for anyone, but working from home isn't for everyone. But I think there are so many benefits that were discovered during that time. And if some of the bigger companies are taking away those benefits again, then more than ever, freelancing needs to be promoted as a career option. So it's something I am very, very passionate about. And I also think freelancing is something that there's a lot of confusion around it. Even the term freelancing, there are a good chunk of people that don't like using the word freelance because they feel like it downplays what it is, or it's not seen as valuable as, say, terms like consultant or contractor or self-employed or entrepreneur, all these kind of terms. Some people consider freelancing to be kind of a hobby career, which is definitely not the case from a lot of people I was saying. I've heard, I think I might have mentioned this in a previous episode actually, about I was listening to the Parenting Hell podcast with Rob Beckett and Josh Widdicombe, and they refer to themselves as freelancers on that. And I shared something on Instagram stories recently about how, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, they were having an interview, and they are technically freelance because they're working for different film companies and TV companies and things like that on different projects. So they are technically freelance. So I just think there's a lot more education to be done, and that's where I'm looking to do it in the kind of the young graduate school leavers as well. I wanted to go into that as well because there's all this stress around A-levels and GCSEs, and what if you don't get them, and what if you can't go on and do the career you want? And I think the beauty of freelancing is nobody cares about your CV. Like, you have a portfolio, you have something that showcases the work you've done, you've got testimonials, recommendations. But I think I've been asked once in the last 15 years for a CV as a freelancer. Generally, it goes off reputation and what you've produced and the clients you've worked with and your social media presence and things like that. Those are the important things. And therefore, I think freelancing is a great option if you are a student who is thinking, well, I haven't got the grades I wanted to do, so I can't do that thing. Now, this is obviously not the case for everything. If you want to be a doctor, you can't just be a freelance doctor. You've got to go do the degree. But for a lot of industries, you can create your own career as a freelancer and not be restricted by what's on a piece of paper from an education board. As someone who, I had undiagnosed ADHD at that point, my predicted grades at school and university were higher than what I came out with because exams generally tend to be based on how good your memory is or your memory in under stressful situations. And while I understood all the content and I could write about it really well in the coursework, exams I couldn't. And I feel like freelancing is potentially a good opportunity for people like that who are intelligent and have something to offer, but they're not exam perfect. I could go on and on about this for a while, which is why I said it was a rant. It hasn't even been something I've planned out here, but I just wanted to share. And it's something I'm doing more talks at universities and colleges about, and obviously doing my course. I really want to educate people. So if you do know of anybody that is looking for someone to talk about freelancing as a career option, I would love a recommendation. But I would also just love for you to share some of the benefits of freelancing for people around you, and especially the young people. The young people, how old person is that? That's a very old person thing to say, isn't it? But yeah, I would love for you to encourage that. Like I said earlier, it's not for everybody, but I want people to know it's an option and that it could be the right option for them. So rant over, that is me until next week. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Freelancers Tea Break. I hope you found it useful. If you want to connect with other freelancers, do come join us in the Facebook group, The Freelance Lifestylers. It's completely free and really lovely and supportive. You can also find out more information on freelancing at freelancelifestyle.co.uk. And as always, I'd really appreciate it if you were able to take a moment to leave a review on the podcast platform of your choice.